Good evening, everybody. Yoko here.
along with David.
And tonight we are back with a much with the much anticipated next episode of Game Show Talk and Fun. I know we said our next episode would be Press Your Luck, but we kind of put that on the back burner after news broke about what was with Television City closing down. Well, closing down for renovations. So today's episode would be in part of you know the legacy of Television City and all of its many game shows that were produced there.
We are, my friend. It was,
Quite a run.
yes, it was quite a run.
Yep. But before we get into that, as always, we start off every show, for those of you who are new to the podcast, with Smash or Trash.
We have a few things to talk about. Smash or trash this evening, excuse me.
Yeah. Might be
and
morning to some of our viewers, depending on where in the world they are.
and one of the major things we're going to talk about in Smash or Trash right now is XFL 3.0.
Yeah. I haven't really been able to watch it at all because normally the games are on when I'm at work. So I'm going to leave that one to you.
Okay. Well, for those listeners that don't know, the XFL is it's a professional football league that was founded by WWE founder Vince McMahon. He tried launching it twice. It failed both times. This time, it seems to have succeeded.
See, I knew about the first time because I actually watched that. Now, was that strictly Fox that picked it up the first time?
No, it was a joint collaboration between Vince McMahon and NBC.
Okay. The reason I thought Fox was because I know that The Simpsons did talked about it in one episode.
Right, it wasn't Fox. Fox had nothing to do with it.
Oh, there we go.
Okay? Anyway, it seems to have succeeded this time. The playoffs for season one are in about 3 weeks, and the championship game will be sometime in May. Uh, the XFL this time is owned and operated by Dwayne the Rock Johnson and his production company.
So are they going to be expanding it next season?
That has not been announced yet, but they're they have 8 teams right now. The two teams to beat are the DC Defenders and the St. Louis Battlehawks. Many people expect those two teams will be the teams that will battle for the XFL title.
Now, how are they doing playoffs?
The top two teams in each division will play one playoff game to determine the two teams that will play for the title.
Okay. So kind of like how the old uh, playoff system worked for baseball a little bit before the wild card.
For the wild card.
Yeah. So, I mean, I did take a look at some of the videos for the rules and everything,
Okay.
And I'm gonna have to give it I'll give it, the seal of approval on it from it. I'll give it a smash.
All right. I'll give it a smash too, because this time around, you know, it's not trying to be the NFL and it's not trying to compete with the NFL. They have their own little they have their own little niche of the football market.
Right. And they're endorsed. They've got the good graces of the commissioner.
Yeah, of Commissioner Roger Goodell of the NFL, so they do have that. So we will save that for another for another day.
That was me sending you something, but
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. One of my many Japanese games that I play. That's my shogi set.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, I used to play chess back in the day, so this is that was the Japanese variant of it.
gotcha.
Yeah. But one thing I am gonna have to trash on right now is something
Uh,
that they're doing in baseball. That's the pitch clock.
yeah, that's trash. That's been trash. That's just the oh, that's just um, the current commissioner of baseball thinking baseball is too boring the way it was. And if you want proof that that baseball without a pitch clock works, look no further than this year's World Baseball Classic tournament.
Right.
It worked, and it was a very exciting tournament.
U.S. versus well, there we go. There's something. That was a. I didn't get to see it due to work and everything, but hearing you and everyone else talk about that final showdown between U.S. and Japan could not
Yep.
have been more of a storybook ending.
Yes, that was a wonderful, wonderful championship match.
One
It
thing I
didn't
will.
end the way it didn't end the way the US wanted, but that's why we play the game to see who is the best baseball team on the planet
For this year.
for this year.
Now, was that done because baseball was no longer an Olympic event?
Yes. But it's still going to be repeated every 3 years.
Oh, so this is a 3 year, every 3 year event?
Yes, this is an every 3 year event.
All right. And then also, we have to give our congratulations to the Huskies for winning it all
Yeah.
in the
And
end.
dominating the
Yes,
tournament. They dominated the tournament. They didn't win the tournament. They dominated it.
and ESPN, according to them, at the end of the first round,
Would
no,
be, yeah.
with no perfect brackets at all.
No, no. After day one of the tournament, it was all she wrote. No one expected
No.
San Diego State to be in this thing, let alone get to the championship match.
Well, it looks like Warren Buffett gets to keep his $1 million.
Billion. B.
It's
With
a
a B.
bill. He raised it to $1 billion now.
Yep. Yep.
Where's Doc and Marty? I need that. I need the DeLorean.
Yeah.
But what is it? $1 billion every year or something, or is it just a flat billion?
No, it's 1 billion, a flat $1 billion if one person can predict all 64 games correctly.
Damn. And someone's come close, but not all 63. They got down to, I think, to the final four or the elite eight, and then the bracket got busted. This was a while back.
So it was a while back, but still, Warren Buffett still watches and still sees. Can someone do it?
I gotta start doing that. I'll start jumping in on this. But yeah,
I can't say much. My bracket was busted 2 hours after the tournament started.
I think that's how most of ours were. But
Now,
and as you could tell by the image for today's background for today's podcast, we are indeed saying our final thought. Well, I guess you could say our goodbye for right now to Television City. I
yes,
mean, they're not tearing it down. It is a national national landmark, but it's being renovated from what I hear.
yes,
But home to, you know, games, a majority of a lot of the game shows that were produced in California came from TV City.
yes,
And the major ones right there in the picture. Famous Price is Right. I'm going to have to say what? That was probably early that was the early 80s set
yes.
and everything. But can't talk about TV City without mentioning the famous Studio 33, aka the Bob Barker Studio.
Yep. It was also the home. Studio 33. Yes, it's primarily known as the home of The Price is Right. Well, was the home of The Price is Right.
Right.
It was also the home of the Carol Burnett Show. And there is a valid argument that the studio should have been named the Carol Burnett Studio because
Right.
she did put the studio on the map.
Right. But I guess it was Bob and the legacy of The Price is Right that overtook that.
Yes, but they did name the the walkway between so the area where you get into Studio 33. It is named the Carol Burnett Walkway.
Yep.
So
Let me.
both are not both are honored at Studio 33.
And hopefully they will still be continued to be honored after the renovation.
Yes.
I gotta pull up my thank you on my phone
Okay.
because I actually have. Yep. And I mean, who doesn't remember the famous address for that? I mean, gotta remember it from the old ticket plugs of The Price is Right.
Yep. You
So,
have to.
yep. What was it? 7800 Beverly Boulevard.
Los Angeles, California, 90036.
Shameless ticket plug right there.
Yep.
Oh, I don't think they're doing tickets that way anymore for The Price is Right.
No. No, and haven't for quite some time.
How do you get? I should ask. How do they do tickets now? Is it all just online?
Yeah, it's all online now, and even that, uh, and even online, it's a crapshoot because of how selective the audience is for The Price is Right now.
Right. But I got up here a list of a lot of the shows that were taped there, and we'll just run down the list. And other than you know, Price is Right, which we're gonna say for its own episode
Yes.
and everything. We talked about this on our very first episode, Pyramid.
Yes, we did.
Yep, Pyramid. Now, I did not know this that American Idol was taped there.
Yes, it was.
Now, was that done in the Bob Barker studio?
No, but it was done at Television City.
Fifth grader.
Yes, again, not taped at Studio 33, but was taped at Television City.
I know this show's still going on right now. Beat Shazam.
Yes, again.
Which I think is I like that. I've actually gotten to watch a few episodes of that.
Huh?
Of Beat Shazam. And I like how it's a little bit of a unique take on Name That Tune.
It's an interesting bite on Name That Tune.
Yeah.
And yes, a few people have beats the Sham for the $1 million grand prize.
Yep. And you know Jamie Farr's Jamie Farr. Yeah, we're letting the chief oddball give away $1 million there, right?
Yep. Yep.
No, Jamie Foxx, and I think that's his daughter. That's also on that show.
Yes.
You know he's always happy when someone beats that. Beat the clock. Now, was that the Monty Hall version that was taped there, or was that the Bud Collyer version?
The Monty Hall version.
All right, so that was like the late 70s.
Yes.
Well, we can't talk about The Price is Right without its next door neighbor, the Bold. No, that's The Young and the Restless.
Yes.
But the other show, The Bold and the Beautiful.
Right.
And I'm just reading down the list here. So if you want to stop and talk about any of the shows, go right ahead. Just let me know. All right.
Now, the funny thing about The Young and the Restless, yeah, it taped right across the hallway.
Yep.
From The Price is Right from Studio 33. Many people don't realize that to make up Television City, there are 5 studios.
I did not know that.
Yes, 5 studios all together make up Television City.
Now, how did they come up with the numbers? Were they just randomly picked?
Yeah. Now, that I don't know. I really don't know how they picked the numbers. But, they're so ingrained in our society now.
Right. We're getting into another Mark Goodson game show here, the Game for the Uninhibited,
which was filmed at Television City. It was primarily filmed in Studio 33.
Right.
Most of the Mark Goodson shows were filmed
in the Bob Barker studio.
And
little known fact, we don't have it up on the YouTube channel, but Body Language was my very first panel game show that I did at Castle Point, all the way back in 2014 when I worked with Brian.
Now, Body Language was not a bad show by any means, but it was Password Plus with charades is what it was.
Right. And Mark Goodson loved his charades.
Yes, and tried no less than 4 times to get the show on the air.
Now, I know Show Offs was another one, right?
Yes, it was an attempt.
What were the other 2?
I'm trying to remember. I'm not sure. But I know 4 different charade shows by Mark Goodson was tried, and the only one that made it to air was Body Language.
Didn't Show Offs make it to air?
No.
Okay, so then that's the pilot that's floating around on YouTube.
Yes.
And I do
Sure.
recommend go check that out. Go check that out. Check that out, and of course, all the episodes of Body Language are probably floating around on YouTube through different game show channels and everything.
Correct.
And another unique game show, Bullseye,
Yep.
which I think was the evolution of Double Cross.
Yes, it was. Double Cross is a pilot that
Right.
became Double Cross became the new Who Waterware game. The new Who Waterware game became Bullseye.
I gotta mention this one because this is one of those classic TV shows, the Burns and Allen Show.
Good show.
Yep. And one show that right now we're working to bring back to our lineup is the game where aces are high and deuces are low.
The '80s version, the Bob Eubanks version,
Yep.
and the Bob Eubanks version, and the what's his name? Bill.
The one the 2019 version of the show that we don't talk about.
No, I'm trying to think of his name.
The new one.
No, I said that twice. No, not him.
All right, because they have on the Wikipedia site here,
It probably
Rafferty.
was.
Rafferty.
There we go. Rafferty. Bill Rafferty.
Right. Because they also have the other version too, the one that lasted one season.
Yeah, that was filmed at Television City as well.
Yeah. And of course, we talked about her, Carol Burnett, who just recently, I think NBC just did their tribute to her.
Yes. And that's the reason it had to be done at NBC is because CBS they don't have the space anymore.
Right.
At Television City.
Child's Play.
Yes. Bill Cullen's last game show for Mark Goodson.
Crosswits.
Yes, that was done there too. And both versions, both the Jack Clark and the David Sparks version was done at Television City.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Sparks was was one of the male models on Sale, right?
Yes, he was.
I didn't like his version of the show because I thought the way that they were only able to get 3 puzzles done kind of lacked in the show. When with the Clark version, you were able to get more puzzles done.
It was a question of advertising at the time, buddy.
Okay. And
one show we really don't talk. One show that was not filmed there, but as a prime example of those advertisement deals was the $1 Million Chance of a Lifetime.
Was that that was the one by what's his name?
Jim Lang.
Jim Lang, yeah. Which became All Clued Up in the UK.
Right. To give away that kind of money, the producers pushed advertising no matter how they could squeeze it into Chance of a Lifetime.
Right. And I think only 8 people won the million?
I think so. I think 8 couples won the money. Yeah.
We got to talk about that show.
Yeah. That was one of the late Michael Teller's favorite shows.
Yes. One I would like to do on the on the convention circuit, just to do it as a tribute to him.
Now,
Going on with this list here.
it's quite massive.
Yes,
Even recent.
yeah,
Go ahead.
and I'm just picking out all the game shows. I'm not taking all of the regular shows that were taped there, mind
Right.
you. Uh, Strictly Come Dancing, or AKA Dancing with the Stars. Now I
Quite a
didn't.
popular. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
You
and then
know, ABC rarely used its own property to film their shows.
I did not know that.
Yeah, ABC rarely did it. Even today, the
It,
$100,000 pyramid for the last two seasons was filmed at Television City.
Now, was that filmed in the Bob Barker studio?
No, but it was filmed at Television City, so we have to acknowledge,
Yes.
the
Well,
100,000.
we did at the top. That was the
Yeah,
first thing on the list.
yeah, but we have to acknowledge that.
And I think the 2005 version of Deal or No Deal. I
Yes.
think that was the syndicated version.
No, that was the actual NBC version. The only studio that was massive enough to film Deal or No Deal is at Television City.
Now, was that done in 33 or was that done in a different studio?
Done in a different studio. It wasn't done in 33, but it was done there.
Right. Don't forget the lyrics.
Again, done at 33.
Yep. Now, I like that show for the simple reason is because they made karaoke fun again,
They did.
and it's come and it came back too.
Yeah, it did.
And this here, according to the Wikipedia article, that was the I can't think of his name right now. The guy that's currently hosting LMAD, Wayne Brady. That was the Wayne Brady version.
Yes, that was the Wayne Brady version, and now Mark McGrath is the host of Don't Forget the Lyrics.
Right. And I liked Wayne Brady too as the host of that. Because if you ever watched him on Whose Line Is It Anyway, he could sing.
That's how
He
he made his living.
Yeah, and he
He
was also
sang before he was a comic.
yeah, and he was also up here on Broadway when Cyndi Lauper had her Broadway show Kinky Boots. He was in that. Yes, I actually have a friend who works on Broadway as a usher. But going on here now, this is not the Nickelodeon version. This is the Mark Goodson, Bill Todman version. Double Dare.
The one hosted by the late great Alex Trebek. It
Yeah.
was done at 33.
Yep. And of course, Family Feud.
Classically done at 33.
And
Obviously.
yep. And Celebrity Family Feud too.
Yes, done at 33.
Yep. Uh, Gambit.
The CBS version, yes.
Now, what's the difference between that? Because when I think of Gambit, I think of Gambit and then Las Vegas Gambit. Were both of
Las
them
Vegas.
were both of
Las
them
Vegas.
on CBS?
No. One was on CBS, one was on NBC.
Okay. So I'm guessing Las Vegas was on NBC.
Yes.
I like I like the Vegas Gambit theme.
That is a good piece of music.
Yep. And then of course some game show marathon,
Right.
which I thought was a unique tribute to the classic game shows and everything.
It served its purpose. It launched several revivals.
Yes. And not going to talk anymore about that, but Give and Take.
Yeah. A
That
Jen Lang show.
Yep. I actually watched a little bit of that too.
Yeah.
Didn't understand it though. Uh, the Gong Show.
Yeah. The syndicated Gong Show.
Right. Now that was after Gary Owens left the show.
Yes.
High Rollers. All right.
The Wink Martindale version.
I thought it. All right. So, and where was Alex's version taped? Was that NBC?
Yes, that was the NBC Studios, is where that was filmed.
Okay.
Yeah, the Wink Martindale version was done at Television City.
Right. So, I gotta ask a question about this here. The Hollywood game.
Okay.
Because that's on this list here as well, too. And I'm not
CB-
familiar.
it was CBS's attempt to bring back the primetime game show in the summer. It was done in the mid 90s, hosted by Bob Goen.
What was it, though? What was it about, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't remember much of it myself, but it quizzed pairs of contestants against popular movies and popular TV shows. Hence why it was called the Hollywood Game.
Okay. Sounds like something I do to everybody, everyone in our group.
Yeah.
And of course, who can forget the great game of Knots and Crosses?
Tic-tac-toe.
Yep, Hollywood Squares. So,
Yep. 98 version. The 98 version.
Was
okay,
the
gotta be clear.
Okay, the Tom Bergeron run.
Yeah, the Tom Bergeron run was done at the Bob Barker studio.
Now, where was Davidson's?
Davidson's was done on. I'm trying to think. I know it wasn't at Television City, but I know.
That was Orion that did the producing on that one.
Yes. And that's the one famously that Harry Friedman started his career on.
Yeah. So, Hollywood's Talking.
That was a Barry and Enright show starring Jeff Edwards.
Yeah. Now, did he ever talk about that when he was originally on the podcast?
No, he didn't. We didn't approach it. We talked about Jeff's career in general and primarily the game show Jackpot.
Because, okay. Yep. Oh. One of the two game shows that are next on this list actually inspired the Nickelodeon game show Figure It Out. I've Got a Secret.
Yep. Being ready to be revived right now.
Yep. I'm a little iffy on that because we don't have the master. We no longer have the master himself, Bill Cohen, on that panel.
No, we don't.
Yep. I got to mention this one because of my age. Jack Benny. The Jack Benny program was taped there.
So was the Ed Sullivan Show.
I thought that was done here in New York at the Ed Sullivan Theater.
Some of it was.
Okay.
A majority of it, you are right, was done at the Ed Sullivan Theater. But in the rare episodes that were, somebody come into this room?
Let me check.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, it's Logan. Hey, Logan.
Oh, hey, Logan. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Yep.
What
Welcome.
am I?
And we have a dog in the background. Come back next week when we actually hear cats meowing.
Yeah, we'll give equal time to the feline.
Yeah. That actually, now correct me if I'm wrong, that actually happened on Bill Cohen's Price is Right.
Yes, it did.
I had to play with that. So
yeah.
But
So what have we been discussing? The old Price is Right because they are
No,
moving house, aren't they?
no, we're
That's
just
the subject of tonight's episode. We're
Television City.
in memory of Television City. Yes.
Can't imagine what the Price is Right is going to look like next year. It's probably going to be in just going to be in a bare ass stage.
probably
It's
not.
Nothing.
What do
probably
what do we know about the new studio?
it's we don't know much about it.
I bet you'll
But
be.
what we do know is that it's gonna is that the audience is gonna be similar to what we got the last 2 or 3 years. We
I,
just can't help that, folks. Just
are we ever gonna get back to normal audience?
probably not.
This doesn't
Because
cost a lot of money to like fill up.
yeah.
Yeah.
What we didn't know, and this is just now coming to light by people that were actually there, they were paying extras to fill the studio.
Was it? Is that normal? Is that normal practice?
It's normal practice, but it but for shows like The Price is Right, that is emphasis on audience participation, a full audience. You have to get the illusion of a full audience for the people for it to be believable.
Right.
Sounds like something out of WWE.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I
Something
remember.
WWE used
Yep.
to do.
Like I remember, I was paid audience for the Bill Cunningham show and that one talk show guy from the UK that had a show over here.
Yeah. The
Jerry Springer.
No, Kyle something.
You know,
Jeremy Kyle.
Yeah,
yeah, the Jeremy Kyle show.
yeah. It
We
was.
don't talk about Jeremy Kyle here
No.
anymore. Because it
I-
got
We
cancelled after someone on the show died.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
exactly what happened on Jenny Jones as well too.
That's why she got canceled.
Yep.
Her
And-
host, her show got cancelled, not Jenny Jones herself.
No, yeah, and she was a former contestant on Pressure Luck.
Yes, she was.
That's
But
funny.
we'll talk more about her when we get to the next episode of Pressure Luck. Going on with the list here, the next show that comes up to mind is it's the game where Lady Luck is queen. No, it's the game where Lady.
Knowledge is king and Lady Luck is queen.
Yes, I got the opening screwed up, but yes, the Joker's wild.
Now, both the Jack Barry, now pretty much all of the Joker's Wild, both the classic and the 1990 revival with Pat Finn
Yep.
was done at the Bob Barker studio.
Oh well. And then from what I know is on the '90s version, they actually had a plaque under the center wheel.
Yeah, they did.
But Dan Enright still found a way to screw that up.
Yeah. Now, we could spend an entire episode talking about that. Let's just say Pat Finn did the best he could with what Dan Enright and Klein and Friends handed him.
Right. Why does that name sound familiar, Klein and Friends?
Because they were the producers of many of the
Was that Richard Klein?
not the actor Richard Klein, but
Okay,
yes.
that's why I asked that because I know he was a celebrity on Pyramid.
Yes, but we're talking about two different Richard Kleins here.
Okay, that why I asked, and I wanted to clear that up.
Yeah, we're talking two different guys here.
Yep. And then I think this is one that needs to be mentioned here. Kids say the darndest things.
That's Art Linkletter and Bill Cosby. Both
Yep.
were done at Studio 33.
Right. And I know this is going off the air, but the Late Late Show.
Yeah, done.
Sad to seem that James Coburn is the one where CBS is just pulling the plug on it. Is it just because of ratings
No,
or?
it's no, it's because James Corden is didn't renew his contract. There was nothing wrong with the ratings. There was nothing sinister. It's just James Corden wanted to move on to other things.
But knowing them, they'll probably find a replacement host for it, like they always do.
Probably will, but
Right.
right now it won't be filmed at Television City. Let's
Yep.
put it that way.
Hey, if you need someone for it, right here. Shameless plug.
Now,
Uh, Sorry, I had to throw that out there. You know, we shamelessly plug things on these show when we do these podcasts and everything.
we do.
Yeah.
Logan, what next to The Price is Right? What was probably your favorite show done at Television City?
I keep I keep forgetting because I don't keep track of where they film.
Okay.
That's fine. I'll move on here with the list. I know this is a show you don't like, or that you're not a fan of, David. The Masked Singer.
No, I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, but
Because it's
that
all
was
celebrities.
filmed at Television City up until 2020.
Yes, and then it moved
COVID.
further. Yeah.
Right.
No, not COVID. Uh, they bought, they rented studio space elsewhere. It wasn't because of COVID.
Okay.
Uh, well, this show is where Chuck developed his two and two catchphrase, the remake of Love Connection.
Well, Love Connection's not a remake, but
The
yeah.
the remake, the one that came out on Fox.
Oh yeah, that was done at Television City.
Yes. That's why I said I think this was the show where Chuck developed his two and two.
Yes.
Oh, and we were just talking about Carol Burnett, and how about its other show, Mama?
Mama's Family, where it all started for Vicki Lawrence.
Yep.
That was filmed at Television City, filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Right, and I think All in the Family was also taped there.
Yes, also in front of a live studio audience.
Right. Now when a sitcom is filmed in front of a live studio, does it make a difference?
Yes, it does.
Pressure.
Because if it's filmed in front of a live studio audience, nothing is edited. You get only one shot at this.
Right. So it's like being on stage and doing a play.
Only this play is weekly. Yeah.
Yes. So going on, I had to mention Mama's Family since we were talking about Carol Burnett earlier on here. And it's sad that we don't see this game show coming back right now. So get ready to match the stars.
Was done at television. Was done in 33 for its entire Gene Rayburn run on CBS.
So he had to share that with Bob Barker.
Yeah, he had to share the studio with Bob Barker. And even the 98 version was done at Television City.
The Ross Schaefer?
No, not the Ross Schaefer version. The Michael Berger version.
Oh, the one that had Vicki Lawrence on it?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I don't know much about that one. I know more about, Ross Schaefer and, Gene Rayburn.
Now, the Michael Berger version was not a bad show by any means. It bordered on vulgarity.
Right. And Mark Goodson didn't, and That just didn't
Jonathan,
fly.
yeah, just didn't catch on.
Right.
Even it was dirty humor. People just didn't, just didn't catch on.
Right. And then, of course, going down the list here, we had Mauled with, oh, what's her name? I can't think of her name right now.
I can't think of her name either. No offense,
Oh,
but yeah,
B. Arthur.
Yeah, B. Arthur.
Yeah.
Just came to me.
Yeah, same here. Then, of course, we had Merv Griffin and Michael Douglas.
Yes.
Hmm.
The Dennis Miller Show from
Yes.
HBO was filmed at the Bob Barker studio.
Yep. I got something for here. All the answers to all the questions are right before your very eyes.
Both were done in the. It is amazing that they could make Studio 33 look that high tech for now you see it in the 1980s.
How did they make that? How was that set constructed?
It was one of the more expensive sets that Mark Goodson ever put together.
That had to compare to the original set, right?
Yeah. Which was very basic.
Right.
The original set for now you see was very basic. The 80s version with Chuck Henry was very high tech. And no, folks, Chuck Henry did not request that his episodes not air in reruns. The episodes are tied up in legalities. Chuck Henry has said, I would have loved to have seen my episodes air.
Right. And was he a weatherman or something as well too?
I don't know if he was a weatherman, but I know he was a newsman in Los Angeles.
Right. Oh, he did a great job with that. I remember his version.
Yes.
And it was a shame too, because I remember seeing a preview for it the one day, and then I go to tune in for it, and it's like, you showed me an advertisement for it, and it's not even here.
It was a 13-week odyssey. I wish it had lasted longer. I really do.
Yep. Oh, one show I skipped over on this list. All the way at the top here.
Okay.
Blackout.
Okay. Now we're getting into obscure shows.
Yes, I jumped over Blackout going through this list.
The only show to be replaced by the show it canceled.
How does that work?
Now, Blackout just wasn't going to make it. Okay.
But why did they take off Pyramid in the first place?
Well, Pyramid was already on its way out. Okay. Mark Goodson was getting ready. That time slot was getting ready for the Ray Combs Family Feud.
Right. So
Bob Stewart went into those final 13 weeks of Pyramid knowing this was it. This was the end. But he did get a proper way to say goodbye.
Right. And we know the 100,000 continued on a little bit after.
For 2 more years.
Yep. That was still with Clark as the host, right?
Yes. Until 1990 when he left Pyramid to host the Challengers.
Right. So, and I think Davidson did a good job. I just didn't like the other bonuses on that version.
By that point, Bob Stewart had retired and Sandy Stewart had taken over production.
So, why didn't they? If Bob knew that Pyramid's time was coming to an end, the 25.
Yeah,
It's like,
I'm
why
listening.
did why did CBS do that and put Blackout there only to have Pyramid come back for 13 more weeks?
It's hard to say at the time. It was the legalities. They
Uh,
owe, let's just say, it was all tied up in legal things.
and I like what Dick Clark said when it came back on. He said, when he said about everyone just writing in and complaining about it.
Yep.
So was there actually truth to what he said about that?
Yes, there is truth to that. That so many people were saying, "Give us back Pyramid, give us back Pyramid." We don't like Blackout.
Right. Now Blackout was also Bob Stewart, right?
No, Blackout was Jay Wolpert.
Okay. Yeah.
Not his first rodeo with Studio 33 either.
Was Wu Tape I'll get to it down on the list later.
Yeah.
And we're all here to play Password.
Yep. When it was filmed in Los Angeles.
Right. That was that nicer set, not the black and white one, I think, right?
Right, it was the color one.
Right.
I love the moments in Password where they always gave away the answer by accident.
We could do a whole episode on that.
Yeah.
Why did they botch it? Did wonder all.
Well, we
Yeah,
know
we could
we know the biggest culprit of that.
was Burt Convey.
Yep.
Burt Convey.
I got to give you the best. Let's see. The answer I was thinking, the clue I was thinking of was Royal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then of course
Flush.
Pat Sajak had his talk show here.
Now, understand one thing for a little while. Wheel and Jeopardy was filmed at Television City.
Right. I think.
The syndicated
Yeah.
and the daytime version.
Wheel of Fortune is on this list. It's just further down.
Yep.
Yep.
It's there. It should be because
It is, yeah. It's on the list. We're only into the P's.
Ooh. Okay,
Yeah.
we got a while to go, my friend.
Pictionary.
From Alan Thicke. Yes.
Oh, that was the Alan Thicke version, not the version that's currently on.
No, that was the Alan Thicke version.
Both of these I'm gonna mention only because they're on here, and both of them were done by Bill Maher. You got Real Time and Politically Incorrect were taped there as well.
They were.
And then, of course, the game show we're going to be talking about in the next episode that gave us the line, big bucks and no whammies.
Still, it's been filmed there since its inception.
Yep. And just to let everyone know, for those of you who are going to be at Castle Point Anime Convention at the end of the month here on the 29th or 30th, I'll be hosting Press Your Luck at the convention. So if you're there, come on down. We'll have a good, guarantee to win some prizes there.
Time.
Yep. And then, of course, the game show that probably all of us remember watching when we were sick and stayed home from school.
Price is Right.
Yep. And I remember that episode when the head of daytime CBS programming came out and gave Bob that plaque where they decided officially to name it the Bob Barker Studio.
Yep.
That was on the 5,000th episode.
Yes, it was. Not many shows ever make it 5,000 daytime episodes.
Right.
Price is only one of Price is one of them. Wheel and Jeopardy are the other.
Right.
Are
I was just gonna say that. But
Yes,
Jeopardy has been renamed the Alex Trebek stage.
yes.
And are they gonna rename the Wheel of Fortune stage to like the Vanna White studio?
I honestly don't know that
The
subject.
bankrupt studio.
No, no. That for that we got to feed the creature beneath the wheel.
Yeah,
Mm,
that
Creature
was
stage.
that was done at Television City as well. Wheel 2000.
yeah. So going
Uh,
on here, the next one that's on
the,
my list is Rodeo Drive.
Yep, that was done at Television City Studio. That was done in Bob Barker studio, actually.
Now that's an obscure. I have to say that's an obscure game show.
Yes, but it was a fun one.
I don't know too much about it.
While the original pilot was done in 1984 with Peter Tamarkin as its host.
Right. He did it. Look, it turned out that he did a lot of pilots.
Yes, he did a lot of pilots. Few shows got picked up, but he did a lot of pilots for a lot of
But
for a
the
lot of
one,
people.
of course, the one that mainly comes to mind is Monopoly.
Right. He should have got that gig, and
Yes.
I will agree.
But hey, that went to the former Jeopardy champion.
Yep.
And I think he did a good job on it too.
With what he was handed.
Yes. But then again, you had Merv Griffin at the helm on
Yeah.
that. Now, where was Monopoly taped? Was that California?
Yeah, at the ABC studios.
Okay. That and Super Jeopardy that weekend, that summer, I remember that.
Right. Right.
Of course, Three's Company's spin off, The Ropers.
Yep.
All right, we're getting into some obscure game shows here. Show Me the Money.
Show from ABC in the summer, in the late 2010s. In the
2006.
Oh, okay, but it was a summer game show.
Hosted by the captain of the Starship Enterprise.
Yes, it was not. It was popular overseas, which is why ABC tried to bring it here. It didn't work.
I noticed that a lot of them, like like a lot of the three major networks, try to do that. If it's popular over there, they try to bring it over here.
Right.
Only Millionaire and Deal, and
Are
Weakest
the only
Link.
one. Are the only three that actually made it.
Yes, I got to throw in the Weakest Link because I know, if I may say this,
You may.
I know that Randy posted up about like the new season being up there, and I still, for all it's worth, Anne and George Gray did a great job on that.
Yes, but Jane Lynch is doing an outstanding job
Yes,
too.
and she's doing her own spin on that, and
Yes.
and that's what I like. She's following in that footstep of being sarcastic to the players
But
when
being a comic.
yes, she's and I also liked her on her other show that she did as well, Hollywood Game Night.
Yes.
Now she's still
Interest
doing.
Hollywood Game Night no longer exists, but Hollywood Game Night, there's an interesting blooper with that.
All
I'll
right.
share it some other time.
Yep, we got to do a bloopers and practical jokes episode.
Yeah. Of course,
Uh,
the
go ahead.
of course the first major game show blooper on television involves Bill Cullen and The Price is Right.
Was that the one I was just talking about?
Yeah, that was probably the first real game show blooper that aired.
Yeah. I'm trying to find that episode through all the original Bill Cullen episodes of The Price is Right. Can't find it yet.
It's hard to find. There's only so many of those episodes that survived.
Right. Spin-off.
Yep, by Jim Lang. That was
Was that Barry
CBS.
and Enright?
No, Nicholas Muir. If that name sounds familiar, those two gentlemen are the ones that are the actual creators of the Newlywed Game and are actually the creators of Canada's most popular game show, Definition.
Yeah, I knew that from Definition.
Yeah,
That's a hard one to do in the convention circuit. But I
it
know,
is.
yeah. But if it's done right, it can be fun.
Yes.
It's an easy game show, and I think when Jim Perry took it over, it lasted a lot longer than the original host.
He lasted 20 years as the host of Definition.
When we got to talk about Definition as an episode.
We'll do that.
Of course, the current host of Family Feud, Steve Harvey, had his talk show here.
He did.
Yep. Stump the Stars.
Not a show I'm familiar with.
The ending episodes of Survivor. I was about to say Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Different show entirely.
The
Survivor.
finales are done. The finales are done at Television City now.
Yep.
Yes.
Everyone in the studio audience has a stake in our 3 celebrity couples.
Yep. That was what?
Tattletales.
Tattletales. Yeah.
Right. Guys, sorry to interrupt. It's getting a bit late, so I'm going to head out. See you later,
All right,
guys.
take care,
All right.
Logan.
Thank you for
Bye-bye.
stopping by, Logan.
Yep.
No problem.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Good night, my friend.
Yep. That's my line.
Yeah.
Now, is that just the reverse version of What's My Line?
Yes. That's all that was.
Right, that was hosted by Bob Barker, I believe.
Yep.
One of the only non-game shows he did.
Yep.
Three's Company.
Yep.
And now it's time for everyone's favorite game of strategy, knowledge, and fun.
So
Right.
the 90s for both the CBS and the Patrick Wayne episodes were filmed at Television City.
Which now he is infamous with an award that we in the game show community give away every year.
Now understand one thing. I'm probably going to take a little heat out of it for this, but Wayne did the best with what he was handed. That's the key word there.
Funny,
with what he was handed.
right. Funny note about that show. It ended on my birthday.
Yeah.
I'll let for those that are non-game show fans, I'll let you figure that one out. Only one of these people is the real John Doe, and is the only one sworn.
To tell the truth.
Was that the Trebek version?
No, that was the actual. That was the version, the 60s, the 70s, even the 90s version with
John O'Hurley.
John O'Hurley was done at Television City.
Now, what was the Alex Trebek version done? Or was that done at NBC?
That was done at NBC.
Right. Because right across the hall he did Concentration, I'm guessing. And it's one of the very few times we see Mark Goodson hosting one of his game shows.
Yes.
We are getting into the Twilight Zone. I'm guessing that was the, what was that, the original Twilight Zone, or was that the later series?
That was the original. Was found at Television City.
I know we're probably going to get a little bit of flack for this one. The Third Degree.
Right, and that was that was a heartbreaking show because
Yes.
nobody knew Bert Convy was that sick.
Right. You did a good job. You did a good job of not letting it show.
Yes, but he also went into that knowing, it was not going to be a
Right. He kind of. Can I
yeah.
say it or no?
You can say it.
That he screwed over Peter Marshall.
Yeah.
Right. Because we see Peter Marshall promoting it on Couch Potatoes.
Yes, and it didn't.
It didn't end well. I think Cindy over at Game Show Garbage has that up there about that. So if you want to know more about that, go.
Go visit our friend Cindy Saddleman. She
Yeah.
has the lowdown on what happened there.
Yep. And she just did the top 5 best and worst replacement hosts and best replacement hosts for international game shows over in on her list.
Now,
And of course, Mark Power, who does all the reviewing all of the Canadian game shows.
right.
Gotta hand it to those guys, over there at Game Show Garbage. They were the ones that came up with the Waney Award.
Yeah. We were the ones that came up with Smash or Trash.
Right. Here's an old one, Video Village.
Oh yeah, that was Monty Hall's first
Right.
show.
And and its kids version, I think, and the kids version was Shenanigans.
Yes.
And I forget who the announcer was for that.
I don't remember myself.
Who was the announcer for the original Hollywood Squares?
Kenny Williams.
That's who it was. He played the cop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We were just talking about this one too. Wheel of Fortune.
Yep.
Oh, here's one of the really obscure game shows. Woo.
Yep. Also done at Television City. But
had a short run over on Buzzer.
yes, but Wink Martindale is the man that owns those tapes now, and we know they're in good hands.
Yes. And of course, we have the one episode up there from the community's late
Randy M. Asia.
Yep.
Yeah. One of a handful of contestants to beat the gauntlet of villains.
Not an easy. He went into that with with an additional 11 seconds, and he left 11 seconds on the clock.
Walked out with 26,000 plus in cash.
Right.
Now, in conclusion,
yeah. Oh,
if
got
you're
one more. Got 2 more on this list here.
Okay.
It's the quick draw game show that were created by Bert and Bert.
Yeah. Syndicated version. Keep that in mind. The NBC version was hosted by Vicki Lawrence and was done at the NBC studios.
Right.
But the syndicated version was filmed at Television City.
And what was the Disney version? The teen version?
Right. The teen version was filmed at the Walt Disney World Studios.
The MGM Studios then, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
And was that still a Bert and Bert production?
No, that was a Klein and Friends production.
But they had to pay Bird and Bert for the right to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they had to pay Burt Reynolds and Burt Convey the money for the teen version of the show.
How did those? I want to know how those two guys came up with that show.
They had been doing it for interesting story. Burt Reynolds had been doing that for years in his
Living room.
in his living room. Yeah.
Is that
So
why
when you've actually heard this, when you actually hear that story on the show, that's not made up. That is actually how Win, Lose, or Draw was created. It was created in Burt Reynolds' living room.
Now were those two actually friends in real life?
They were. They were.
Okay. So is that why Bert was a prominent celebrity?
On the show, yes, because he was its creator.
Now, was that the same for the Vicki Lawrence version as well?
Yes.
I thought Vicki
it was very.
Go ahead.
Vicki did an outstanding job as host of the daytime version.
Yes, and I will agree to that.
Yeah.
I think that was her. I think that was her only game show.
She did the pilot for Show Off.
Okay.
With Tom Kennedy.
Right, I remember. I had to look that one up. Now there's a topic that we could talk about.
We could keep talking for hours about the shows that were filmed at Television City, but we're going to have to wrap this up
Right.
folks.
Yep. So probably probably the longest running, and I know we're going to do I know we're going to do an episode on this. Is The Price is Right.
We always talk about The Price is Right.
Go ahead.
One thing that people really don't talk about much, they remember it, but it's not talked about, and I wish they would talk about it a little more, are the two versions of The Price is Right with Tom Kennedy and Doug Davidson. They're not talked about often, but
you're forgetting one other person.
Who?
The guy that did the original nighttime version.
Oh, Dennis James. I forgot about that.
Yeah, can't forget about Dennis James, because I remember you told me they wanted Mark Goodson wanted Dennis James as the daytime host.
Yes, he did. Things didn't work out the way Mark Goodson wanted at the time. That's why the nighttime Price is Right was created. So Dennis James could host the nighttime version.
Right. I think there was only 1 week of shows where Bob was not there.
Yes. And that's the daytime week. That's the only daytime week that Dennis James hosted.
Right. Now, did Bob ask Dennis to fill in for him, or was that Mark Goodson that...
That was all Mark Goodson's doing.
Okay.
Yeah. Shortly after that, there were stipulations put into Bob's contract that if he could not attend the tapings, the show just didn't tape.
Right, and I think that's the same that goes for any show now.
Yeah, if the host cannot, with very rare exception.
Right.
Case in point, Wheel of Fortune, the show had to tape. Yeah. They had no choice.
And I think Vanna did an excellent job.
She did.
Yes.
But that's one of those cases where if the show absolutely has to tape, they'll do that.
Right. They'll go out and find a substitute host.
Yes. But thankfully, in the case of Pat Sajak. Now, there's an interesting story about that.
All right. I think we have time to talk about it.
Yeah, we have time to talk about that.
All right.
This is how... Now, Alex Trebek is known for being the host of all these popular shows from the 70s. But how he got the gig on Jeopardy, was he filled in for a week of shows for an ailing Chuck Woolery on Wheel of Fortune.
All right.
These episodes are highly sought after.
I did not know that.
Yeah, those 5 episodes, there's only 5 of them. But he did 5 episodes for ailing Chuck Woolery for Wheel of Fortune. And then
Was Chuck just in bad health, or?
yeah, Chuck was just in bad health that week. It wasn't the contract dispute. It was just Chuck was not feeling well.
Right, like it is now. I think
Yeah.
we all know it was a contract dispute. Chuck wanted more. I think what Merv was offering to pay him the more. Well, was it NBC that was offering to pay the difference, or was it Merv that was offering to pay the difference?
It was NBC was offering to pay the money.
And Merv said he's gone.
Yeah. Merv said, I don't want to pay him that kind of money.
Right. But NBC was willing to pay it for him.
Now, here's something that a lot of people don't know. Many a times, and this is going off the subject, but many a times, Peter Marshall in contract negotiations, made outrageous demands in his contract.
Right.
But to try to intentionally get off the show. CBS,
wow.
but NBC always met the conditions of the contract, so he said, I'll just go to work.
Was that because he didn't like doing Hollywood Squares, or?
Oh, he loved doing Hollywood Squares. He absolutely loved it. It's just as the show became more popular, he was devoting a lot of more time to doing Hollywood Squares than he was devoting to his show business career.
Right. So sounds like what I talked to you about stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe I learned it from him.
But according to Peter Marshall, every time the contract talks started up, NBC gave him what he wanted, so he said, I'll just go to work.
Right. So it sounds like sounds like I picked up on things from him then. But I say that jokingly,
Yes, I know.
Yeah. But
But in conclusion, the history of game shows is deeply rooted in Television City, and it's going to be missed.
Right. For the time being.
For the time being. We will probably see more game shows shot at Television City come.
Now, how long are the renovations going to last?
2 years minimum.
So are they going to leave? They're going to leave that plaque, I hope, on the Bob Barker studio.
Yes.
Yep. Because I remember, you had the famous CBS drapes there,
Yep.
And then you had the color, those famous colored drapes in the background for The Price is Right.
Yep.
Well, I mean, we could talk about some of the famous bloopers and everything when we get to The Price is Right.
Yep. But like I said, Television City was more than just game shows, but the history of game shows is deeply rooted in Television City and the business.
Same here in New York.
Yeah. And the business is a lot better for it.
Right. Well, I think I think it's split between L.A. and New York now.
Yes, it is.
Yep. So, we'll work out for the next episode, but definitely the next episode is going to be
Press Your Luck.
Yep. probably will get it off before I go to Castle Point and everything. But
Yep.
stay, like I said earlier today, I'll be back in the morning at 10 a.m. for Persona 5 Royal. Stay tuned to the Discord channel for the next episode of the podcast, which is going to be Pressure Luck
Yep. But
and everything. And if you were a contestant on a game show, or anyone that or someone that works within the industry, you're always welcome to come on and for an interview and everything. So we open that up as well.
we'd love to have you.
Yep. You can reach us at Lost Silver Productions gmail.com, to get in contact with us, and we'll schedule that. And also stay tuned to that, and also our Facebook page for the latest in conventions, and the YouTube channel for the videos. So if you missed this, if you missed the live show, or you missed any of our other podcast episodes, they'll be up on our YouTube channel. So you can check us out there at Lost Silver Productions. And we're going to have a lot to talk about for press.
Yes, we do.
Yep. So until next time, I'm Yoko.
And I'm David.
And we'll see you next time for more game show talk and fun. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.